What's going on, everyone? So D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reaves are very likely going to be your starting backcourt for the Lakers this season. I personally believe they will. I know there's an argument for several different options, right? Maybe you go Gabe Vincent for more of that defensive purpose. Maybe you go Reaves at the point, bring in like a Taurean Prince to start at the two, something along those lines. But personally, I think the Lakers will keep that continuity. I think D'Lo will at least get the starting job at the point guard to at least start the season, first 20 games or so. But it's going to be very interesting to see where these two go this season. And what I mean by that is that there's already talks about D'Lo potentially getting traded. A lot of that has to do with the Lakers. There were reports even before D'Lo signed that the Lakers wanted to re-sign him to eventually trade him, that Austin Reaves would eventually be the kind of starting playmaker, the starting point guard for the Lakers at some point. Austin Reaves has expressed publicly and openly that he wants that role, that he wants that opportunity to kind of be on the ball more and making plays. The Lakers have expressed publicly that they want to give him the opportunity to do that. Makes sense. You'd want to trade D'Lo at some point. And then when the Lakers re-signed D'Lo, they convinced him to waive his no-trade clause, which then caused even more rumors that D'Lo would be traded. Now, I personally think it's going to be up to D'Lo and how well he plays. These two guys are very comparable, right? Similar size, similar height, similar builds, kind of the way that they play the game, kind of like at a slower pace than others. Both guys are excellent shooters. Both guys are excellent off the ball. Both guys are excellent on the ball. Both guys can play make. Both guys create their own shot, be a legit 3-level scorer. These guys are very comparable. And it's a great asset to have both Lakers. But there is also a real question of like, which of these two is going to be the third guy for the Lakers? You got LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It's also very possible that that person could end up being Christian Wood, a legit 17-8 guy. He probably plays a lot of minutes, especially since Anthony Davis wants to spend more time at the 4. Christian Wood probably plays the 5 at times. So it very well could be Christian Wood. But I do think because Reaves and D'Lo will be guys that are on the ball a lot, and because of their ability to also play off the ball, and LeBron is still a player on the basketball court with the Lakers, so you know he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. So having Reaves and D'Lo and their ability to shoot and play alongside LeBron is very massive, very important. D'Lo was excellent off the ball last season for the Lakers. And again, can play, make, and play off the ball. I've even made the argument that you should play D'Lo at the 2 and just kind of tell him, hey, don't worry about playmaking so much. Just go get buckets. I mean, the guy gave us 17 points per game for the Lakers, was still giving you like 6 assists per game and trying to kind of be the primary playmaker. What does he look like if all he has to do is focus scoring, let Reaves handle the ball, and let LeBron and Reaves kind of be the playmakers, and then D'Lo just has the green light to get it going? Talk about a guy that shot almost 42% from 3 last year on good volume, guy that could be a legit scoring threat. I could see D'Lo getting his total up to like 23 points a game. It's only 6 more points than he had last year, and if he's actually getting the shot attempts and playing the role of like, hey, I don't actually have to play make so much. I'm not saying he'll never play make. I'm not saying that they won't put him in the position to do that. I do want to see him kind of operate in the pick and roll with Anthony Davis. That was one of the best plays in all of basketball last year. And D'Lo was also one of the few guys on the Lakers last year that actively tried to get Anthony Davis the basketball, right? More so than Reaves, more so than LeBron, more so than anybody, right? D'Lo really tried to get Anthony Davis the ball. So, and I imagine that chemistry will build more. But many people believe, and me too, to an extent. I do. I really, like, if I had to bet on it, I would say it's Austin Reaves. It's probably going to be the third guy. LeBron really trusts him. LeBron really confides in him. LeBron was essentially willing to change his game entirely for Reaves during the playoffs. I mean, so much so, even the commenters were like, dude, like, when have you ever seen LeBron do this? He was letting Reaves close down the stretch. He was not even touching the basketball. When he did get the basketball, he was giving it up to Reaves and letting him go to work. Like, you can tell LeBron really trusts Austin Reaves. And that goes a long way when, you know, your best player and arguably the greatest player of all time says, we're going to put the ball in Reaves' hands, it's probably where the ball's going to go, right? So, and the Lakers, again, they've made it apparent to, like, hey, we want to get Reaves involved more in running and operating the offense. Austin Reaves has talked about it. He just had an excellent stint for Team USA. He was literally the number one player by every metric for Team USA this past summer, right? And I think he's going to have a big role. I think these three guys of LeBron, AD, and Austin Reaves are probably going to be the three guys that play the most minutes, right? I really do. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Austin Reaves is the guy that plays the most minutes at anybody on the team. He was the guy that did that last year because he's so good as that gap player. You can play him with the starters. You can play him with the bench unit. You can play him in pretty much any role, and he's going to be really good and effective, right? So if I had to guess, I think Austin Reaves, more likely than not, is going to be that guy that shines. And I do think his production goes up, right? I mean, dude was nearly a 50, 40, 90 guy last year. I think he's close to that again this year, if not is 50, 40, 90. I think that there is a real chance and opportunity that Austin Reaves is playing to an all-star level. I don't think he'll actually get to be an all-star just because the Western Conference is so stacked with guards. He'll have the little boost that comes with just being on the Lakers, right? Every year there's like a random guard on the Lakers that almost makes the all-star team just because he's on the Lakers. Austin Reaves, I think, and especially with all the hype and excitement and the way he played for Team USA, like, I think he'll be close. I think he will be a guy that, like, if there's a key injury or something like that and a guy ends up missing the All-Star game, that Austin Reaves gets the nod. I could see that happening. But I think more likely than not, he'll probably be on, like, that all-snub team where he's putting up all-star numbers, but he wasn't actually able to make the all-star team. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I'm not saying it will happen. I wouldn't be surprised, right? I do believe Austin Reaves is probably like a 18-5-5 guy, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he's like 23-5-5 or 25-5-5, right? Because I do believe the Lakers are going to give him that opportunity. I do think LeBron is going to kind of take a bit of a step back. Look, LeBron, him just being on the basketball court is 20 points, right? LeBron's still going to go get his, but I do think he will defer to Reaves a lot. We saw him do it towards the back half of the season last year when the Lakers were in desperation mode. We saw him do it in the playoffs. And so I definitely think Reaves, just by default, is going to be the third guy. And I mean, all of like the articles and news and stuff that comes out that is like, breaking down the three best players on the Lakers, Reaves is always in that third slot. And I think he'll have that opportunity. But again, you can make a real argument for D'Angelo Russell. The guy could easily be this year, again, a 18-5-5 guy too, just like D'Lo or just like Reaves. I mean, he was nearly that this past year. He was what? He was 17, I think 4, or I think he was like 3.7 or something like that, but we'll be nice. We'll say 17, 4, and 6, right? Like, is what D'Lo was. So it's not out of the realm possibility. Or let's call it 18, 4, and 6 this season, right? Like, let's say he does that. I think that is very likely for him, just based on what we saw last year. I just think it's going to be the opportunity. Like, how much does he get to actually play? How much do the Lakers actually allow him to kind of be D'Lo, right? Again, the Lakers were undefeated when D'Lo scored 17 points last season. 17 or more. I don't think that was a fluke or by mistake. The one problem with D'Lo is just he's such a liability defensively. Where Reaves, teams target him, but he's better defensively. He's not like a leader or anything like that, but he's good enough to hold his own, right? Where D'Lo he gets exposed. So that makes it a little difficult, in my opinion, for D'Lo to kind of be the third guy. But again, like if they make him just like a primary scorer and just tell him like, hey, don't worry about the 6 assists. If you see a guy wide open, go ahead, give it up. But like, we want you to be aggressive and look for your shot. I think D'Lo easily could be, 23 a game. Again, like 6 more points than he had last year. And the way he shot last year, he shot over 50% from the field. Like, that's only, 4 more shot attempts than he had last year? Right? Like, so I do. Or him just making more free throws. That was his problem. Like, he actually wasn't very good shooting the free throws last year for us. He was good for the season. He was good for the Timberwolves. But for whatever reason, when he came to the Lakers, he really struggled for the free throw line. That was the one area that he was rough in. So last year for the Lakers, again, he played just under 31 minutes. He got 13 field goal attempts per game, right? Shot 48.4%, 41.4% from 3 on 6.5 attempts per game, 55.5% from 2-point range on 6.5 attempts per game, EFG of 58.8, and from the free throw line, he only shot 73.5%. I mean, if he gets back to, for the Timberwolves, he was 86%. If he gets back to 86%, then there's an extra, 2 points per game, right? So now he's at 19 a game. And if he gets 2 or 3 more shot attempts, then there he is in the 20s. So I absolutely believe that D'Lo could end up being that third guy. And in my opinion, he's probably going to have to be if he wants to stay on the Lakers. Because if Austin Reaves is clearly outplaying him, right? And Christian Wood is doing his thing, and Rui and, Gabe Vincent is better defensively and all that stuff, I think the Lakers look to move him. Like, even if he's as good as he was last year, right? Like, let's say he's the exact same thing. Shoots 55% from 2-point range, 42% from 3-point range, gives you 17 points per game. Like, I think Lakers might still look to move him. Primarily because I think, one, there would be the concern that he opts out and then go signs elsewhere and then they lose him for nothing. I think the other reason would be they would look to upgrade or maybe go get a more long-term piece, right? I could see something along those lines. But I'm rooting for D'Lo. Look, I really am. I want D'Lo to have success because if D'Lo has success, then the Lakers are going to have success, right? Again, Lakers were undefeated when D'Lo averaged 17 or more points per game last season. If he does that every game this year, the Lakers won't lose a game this year by going by that metric. But in all seriousness, like, I want to see D'Lo just get after it. And I love that we have 2 guys that you can make a genuine argument for. Because that means the Lakers have 4 guys that are going to be very good this upcoming season. Very good. And that's a good thing to have. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Who do you think will actually be that third guy? You think it'll be D'Lo? Think it'll be Reaves? Do you think it'll kind of be like, no, they're pretty even, they're pretty there? That's another thing I could see. Like, I could see both. I don't think it's that far-fetched to think both give you maybe they both give you 15, 4, and 4 or something like that, right? I don't think that's that far-fetched to think. But anyway, again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know down in the comments.